Hello, hello. I just have a poll up on the screen, so while we're all sort of getting together, if you don't mind answering, it just got very quiet. What app do you spend the most of your time on? And it's okay, my Spotify Wrapped said my number one played artist was Taylor Swift, and I still shared it, so you can still put Instagram up here, it's no problem. Judgment-free zone. Cool. Whoever's putting Slack and Gmail in here, your boss isn't here, it's okay. We're friends.
My personal email is also Gmail.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I think we have some answers going, and we're going to come back to this later in the presentation as well. But in the meantime, thank you all for coming. You have come to a presentation which I named this morning. You heard it here first, which also is a subject line that I wish worked but didn't very well or doesn't very well. But basically, I want to talk to you about using CRM channels to build complementary and exclusive experiences. So things that you only find in your CRM channels that complement your product, but that are not actually mirroring it, really. So a little bit about me first. This is a very nice glamour shot. I am the founder of Loyalty Consulting. So we focus on using mostly post-purchase CRM to drive engagement, retention, loyalty, and advocacy in order to increase LTV. So that's really where my focus is on that engagement side of CRM. Just a quick sales pitch, because I'm here and you're there. So we do full channel management, strategic advising, and also team development. If you're interested, sales pitch ends now, but you know what I look like now. So come find me. Cool. Before I founded Loyalty, I was actually working at Babbel very closely with Ale. So if you were here for the last talk, that's a project we worked on together as well. So actually, I'm mostly talking about a project that we did at Babbel during this chat here. One more quick poll everywhere, so that we have kind of a benchmark of what our collective understanding of CRM is, or what our collective understanding of what impactful CRM is. If you don't mind just putting in here, same URL, what is your most impactful CRM initiative, please? Really, this entire presentation is just a series of you guys answering polls. I hope that's okay. No, I have a few things to say in the middle, so that's good as well. Cool. So we've got some ideas here. I made a list myself. Some sort of CRM 101s or some things that people will come to me and ask for most often are things like an onboarding flow, abandoned basket, sales flows, win-back flows, cancellation flows, engagement nudging, so getting people back into the product, some weekly and monthly summaries. Those are actually very fun. But there's kind of one issue with these, or maybe not issue, it's not a bad thing, but it is something that they have in common, and that is that they are all product-oriented flows and not actually customer-oriented flows. So you can make them in a way that's customer-oriented, you can use customer-oriented messaging, creatives, but in the end, what you're trying to do is bring customers back to your product. It's a very product-oriented goal that we have with all of these flows. I forget what the next slide is. Yes, right, here we go. So for example, here are some customer-oriented problems that a customer might like to find a solution to with an app. So for example, I would like to learn a new language. Wonder what app I'm talking about. Another one is, I would like to connect with other walkers or hikers or runners. And another one is, I would like to stay entertained. So this is kind of a very customer-centric view of what someone might try to get out of an app. So Babbel, of course, is an app where you can learn a language. And Babbel says the way that you can learn a language with Babbel is by taking online courses, right? You can connect with other walkers, hikers, runners using Strava. And you can do that by tracking and sharing your own walks, hikes, and runs. And similarly, then you have Netflix. So you can stay entertained by streaming TV shows and movies. So these are just a few examples of a problem that a customer has. I mean, this is it says CRM 101 on the top. I know we're all like experienced marketers, but anyways. Customer problem on the top, a product that might help to find a solution to that problem, and the actual solution that product is potentially giving. But one of the kind of issues with this is that this is not the only way that you can learn a new language. There are a lot of ways that you can learn a new language. There are a lot of ways that you can stay entertained or connect with other people who have similar hobbies as you do. So for example, if you're learning a language with Babbel, some other things that you can do are take in-person courses, go to immersive events, go on language trips, which is also an immersive event, I'm now noticing, or do some grammar exercises, maybe in a grammar book or something like that. And so kind of the thesis of this presentation I'm trying to get to is that driving a single solution to a user problem via both product and CRM can actually limit the overall impact that you're having on the group of users. So basically, when you have Babbel has a certain product market fit for people who want to learn a new language. It's people who want to learn a new language by taking an online course, right? But that doesn't necessarily help everyone who wants to learn a new language. So what I argue is that within CRM channels, what we can do is enter stage left, channel exclusive content. So offer something basically that the product is not already offering, that gives a solution to the customer problem that is different from the one that the product is offering. So staying within the same scope of the customer problem, offering a different solution. Is it making sense so far? Is it okay? How are we doing? I'm feeling okay. I got a thumbs up there. Okay, good. Good. All right. So, written out what I just said, just in case I mumbled, which is probably I did. Channel exclusive content is content that addresses a user problem in a way that is not addressed by the product itself. So, we can go on. This is not a new concept, right? Content marketing, this is kind of the pillar of content marketing in general, is offering something different from what the product has in order to keep people, customers, engaged with the brand. So this is an example, the Babbel magazine, of sort of exclusive content or content that's complementary, I should say complementary content to the product. But what makes good channel exclusive content? So I have here 3 criteria. So we already talked about this. It solves the same user problem that is solved by the product. The second one is that it complements what is offered by the product. So we're not creating any like a weird competition between product and CRM, no. And 3 is it offers something new to the user. There's a value add there. It's something that they're not seeing elsewhere within sort of the brand space, like this, your individual brand space. So it's offering them something new. So for example, when I was working for Babbel, we ran a podcast listening challenge. So it was part of a New Year's resolution campaign. We encouraged users to go in, listen to podcasts, but then what we did is we added this complimentary piece that you can't find in the product, which was a quiz in the email, and then an incentive to complete that quiz and get your answers right, which is a month free of Babbel. So this is something that we ran. It met all of these 3 criteria in this method. So it's solving a similar user problem. So that's, I would like to learn a language. It complements what's offered by the product. So it's offering this sort of, quiz that goes with a podcast. And it's offering something new to the user. You're not finding podcast quizzes anywhere else in the product, or you weren't back then. So this is what it looked like. This is, imagine you're scrolling, and that's the first part, and that's the second part. It's a very long email. But basically, we explained the podcast challenge, we recommended a podcast episode, and then we gave them the pop quiz there. So yeah, there are the 3 criteria. We just went through them, and that's what the email kind of looked like. And then this is what we were running it against, and actually the CTA here is so there was one that also had a CTA that had sent you to podcast. So it was a better test than what you're seeing here. I realized that later. But basically, yeah, we had this sort of product-centric control, which all that it was doing was saying, listen to our podcasts, here they are, CTA. And then we had this sort of customer-centric control, or offering this complementary content, or the test variant, offering this complementary content, which is saying, okay, here's a very specific episode, and here's something that you can do with it as well. So a pop quiz, all of that. And what we saw was that we actually had a 71% uplift in podcast starts against this control where they were sent to podcasts, just sent there, but nothing extra. And we also had a little bit more than double the click rate. So huge engagement on the actual email, which can also be attributed to this quiz bit. So having the engagement piece within the email. But we didn't stop here. Right? This wasn't even the first one like this that we ran. We actually ran quite a few of these throughout the years. So these are a few. If you were here last hour, you saw Alejandro speak. Same Alejandro here in the test emails. So yeah, but basically we leaned into this idea of seasonal campaigns and using that as our sort of orientation point for coming up with this complementary content. You can see we did a Pride Month campaign. These are just a few. We had an Easter egg hunt. So they were introduced to the Easter egg hunt in the email channel. Then they were sent the actual Easter eggs, which had new words in them via the push channel. That one always worked very well. We did that every year. We had another one about celebrating your mother tongue, which came with like an untranslatable word in the language that you're learning. Which was very good. But basically, what happened was that against these sort of communications that aren't adding anything complementary to the product, they're just sending you right through to the product, these ended up leading to a much higher rate of learning, which is exactly what we wanted. So great. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then also this campaign or this series of campaigns won the App Growth Award retention campaign for Babbel. So actually the team that did that is right there. So it wasn't really me, it was them. But yeah, so there you go. So yeah, that was very, very nice. But anyways, so I was hoping to try it then. I'm hoping that the same answers come up that we had up there before. Okay. So basically, if we want to start, so try to come up with some complementary content that we could potentially use in a CRM campaign for some of our most favorite apps. I won't make us do it for Gmail, but maybe, is there one that somebody particularly wants to do? Reddit's kind of, yeah, Reddit could be interesting. Or in Spotify? All right, Spotify it is. All right, so we're going to go with Spotify. Now let's try it. Now, just as a reminder, these are our criteria. We want whatever complementary content that is exclusive to our email channel that we're creating. You know, it's almost unfair to do Spotify because they're already like the winner, you know? But maybe I'm only saying that because it, came out yesterday. Does everybody here get the Spotify Wrapped? I mean, what an incredible campaign. Anyways, I know I'm like 5 years late to say this, but yeah, now it's on record. You have it recorded. So cool. Anyways, so we're going to help Spotify come up with their next generation of Spotify Wrapped. So these are the criteria we want. We want whatever we come up with to solve the same user problem that's currently being solved by Spotify, by the actual product Spotify. We want it to complement what is being offered by Spotify, and we want it to offer something new to the users, so something that they're not already getting within the Spotify product. And I love a poll, so once it sort of activates, if you don't mind going back to the same URL and typing in maybe one word, what is or actually this isn't a word cloud, this one, it'll just come up as a list. What user problem is Spotify solving? I feel very much so not like a teacher because I'm looking out and I'm like, oh, good, everybody's on their phones. Cool, I'll just let it run for a second. I didn't even answer, and it still got my... Cool. Okay, so we kind of have convenience, music anywhere, anytime. We have entertainment for sure. I also saw one for podcasts, so that's kind of being informed, staying informed. That's also Taylor Swift because she doesn't post on social media a lot, so it can be very frustrating for a fan. I'm really leaning in at the moment. Cool. So creating playlists could also be something like sharing with other people. So this is also interesting. So I think we have like a lot of opportunity here in terms of coming up with some complementary content. But maybe we can pick one. All you can listen buffet. Very nice. So yeah, maybe why don't we go with the creating playlists one in particular. So as a user problem, we want to be able to create playlists, mixtapes, if you will, mixed CDs. And so we are going to Spotify for this. So let's go on to the next question then. So how can we solve this problem differently from the product? So of course, at the moment, Spotify has a feature that allows you to create playlists. What can we actually add to this that's also sort of addressing this user problem of wanting to be able to create playlists? And same as before. Cool. So we have a lot of playlist recommendations going on. I'm also a big fan of the sharing idea. So sharing with different people, or how to turn it into a sort of social experience, creating a playlist, topic-based playlist. Yeah. That's really cool. We ran something similar to this also at Babbel that was cool, that was, what do we call it? Babbel mixtapes. Actually, Deborah ran it. She's sitting there. But it was really cool. It was like a playlist of some songs that came with some information about the artist. So it was songs in your learned language. So very much in line with what I presented today. So cool. So we have some ideas of how we might, talk about playlist creating, or create some complementary content around playlists that is not actually what Spotify is currently offering, which is quite interesting. So let's go on to the next one. And now this one's just anyways. So maybe we can start with a specific. Oh gosh. Okay. So maybe if we start with a specific problem that we had here. So maybe we can go with the share one. I really liked this. So, specifically talking about playlists as being a way that you can connect with other people, having maybe some more sharing capabilities or some recommendations for how to share, things like that. So now we can go on to this next poll, which is, now we're going through these criteria. So does complementary content about sharing your playlist with other people, does this solution complement the product? This is really just like a very digital way of giving ourselves a pat on the back. That's what this is. Cool. How am I on time? Am I like way? We've got loads of time. Okay. Cool. And then one last, Whoa. Does anybody want to argue their point? Actually, I'd be curious. Or not. This is also fine. No? I mean, this is not, who did this? No. All right, cool. We'll go on to the next one. And is it offering something new to the user, having some complementary content about how to share playlists or, different ways to share playlists? So this is basically, we're just going through the thought process. This no, I can understand a little bit better. It's fine. But here we're kind of going through the thought process. I mean, imagine doing this with your own product that you know very, very well, and you know the ins and outs of and everything. This is sort of the thought process that we took when we were thinking up the complementary content to have in the email channel. So I give us, based on this, a C+. Is this okay? I don't know the German grading system, like a 2, 3? No, wait, no, it's the other way. 1.5, something like this. No, wait, I don't know. Anyways, cool. Who's changing their answer? No, anyways. All right, cool. Thank you very much for coming. That's it in terms of content. But yeah, questions, comments, angry outbursts? I'm ready. Oh, thank you.